Welcome to Mr. Whitman's Minimalist run of Space Quest 1, the Sarien Encounter original. As usual, if you do not like the commentary, please just watch the original video that I posted without commentary. Space Quest 1, unlike games like King's Quest 1 and Quest for Glory 1, is actually one that's pretty straightforward without having oversights, such as not actually saving the Baron's son, or side quest in which you have to deal with the witch. In this game, I've done pretty much the one thing that can be skipped, and you can still finish the game, which actually is also the major complete plot point of the game. I skipped the cartridge that has the star generator information on it. So now it seems that your only goal is to get off the ship that apparently has Sariens on it. Which, as you can see, I never actually encounter any Sariens. So, really, there is no reason to be getting off the ship other than the fact that the alarms are blaring. Now, in this scene, I actually had attempted to leave the gadget behind, which turns out to be a translator. As it turns out, if you do that, you run into a dead end, because you will eventually run into an alien that does not speak your language, and he will end up sending you back out, and you'll die if you cannot understand him. In fact, this will happen even if you have the translator and do not turn it on. Although it does seem quite strange that you don't just get the idea to turn it on after you get sent back out. Now, on a side note, I never actually liked Roger's flight suit here. It really makes him seem like the generic space-age hero kind of character, rather than the space-age janitor, which is something that only really came up in later games and also at the end of this game. With the doors not getting closed and the seatbelt not being put on, in the remake, this will kill you. In the original, if you attempt to fly out without doing either one, you just get a message saying that the door is open or your seatbelt is unbuckled. And of course, we see the planet Corona. It mentions here that it's 40 degrees centigrade. For those that don't actually know the conversion between centigrade and Fahrenheit, that's actually 104 degrees Fahrenheit. It is fairly hot. However, I've been in deserts where it got up to 120 degrees. So it's unpleasantly hot. It's not actually blazingly hot, however. Now, truth be told, you don't actually have to obtain the kit. You can avoid getting it altogether. However, if you avoid getting the kit, then in the end you will actually end up gaining more points than you would have lost if you do not get the kit. There will be more of that later. And here I actually deal with not getting the red herring of the game, in which you can actually obtain the plant. As it is, well, there is a purpose for that in the second game, or the remake of the game. There is no purpose for it in the original. And this was the sole reason I got the kit. If you kill Orat in this manner, you'll gain only 5 points. If you use the other technique, in which you have the spider droid blow him up, it'll gain you 10 points. Which is not to say that you don't actually have the option of getting the full 10 points if you decide to use this method to destroy ORAT. All that you have to do is you have to push the boulder off of the bones, or the rock formation in this particular case, and blow up the spider droid with the rock. That will also gain you 5 points, and in the long run, you don't lose anything for doing it. However, since I don't actually blow up the spider droid, and I even avoid pushing the rock off in the first place, that means that I lose that extra 5 points that I would have gained. That being the case, I end up losing out on about 3 points altogether. I was actually hoping to avoid this particular thing. That spider droid's homing sound is one of the more annoying sounds in the Space Quest games. The way that I see it is that the originals of just about every Space Quest series has, or not Space Quest, Sierra series, has a very annoying sound to it. For the King's Quest series, it was that leprechaun trying to catch you. These particular situations, well, this is not actually a speed run of the game. I do actually try to make this go faster than if I was playing this at its normal speed. So I do go through this fairly quickly, but there are things that I end up doing that would actually take longer to finish than if you did them the way that they're intended to be finished. This part is one of those situations when I actually speed through it, and believe it or not, I actually was able to get through those drops without actually getting hit once. I tell you, that was only luck. There is no method to it whatsoever. This is a situation where if you do not have the translator, or if it's not even turned on, you end up losing the game. Strangely enough, when you leave this particular situation and move on to meet other characters, even if you have the translator turned off, you can still understand what they're saying. They make mention how their power is based on steam, which kind of begs the question, where do they get enough water to create that steam? This is a desert planet. You would think that water would be quite scarce and not something that you'd really want to use for the purpose of generating power, so much as you would want it for the purpose of getting something to drink. I do end up missing points here for not actually putting in the cartridge and finding out the uh, destruct code for the star generator, but as it turns out, the code that destroys the star generator does not change from game to game. So therefore, after finding out what that code was, I actually did not need that cartridge at all. It did lead to rather annoying situation when I had to play through the game up to this point just to find out the code and then play all over again, but I felt it was worth it. Of Ken Williams, the president of Sierra Online at the time. However, that site is long gone, and what that name is, I don't know. If anyone knows it, then go ahead and post it up, and maybe we'll get to see it. You know, the first few times that I played this, I had not thought to get the keys. Even in this situation, I had only just remembered to get the keys, and almost had to go all the way back to the beginning of the game in order to not lose the skimmer. Although, quite strangely, if you try to ride the skimmer, it tells you that the batteries of the skimmer are dead, and it will not work. So that does leave me questioning, how is it that this guy is able to steal the skimmer, and even in this situation, when you sell him the skimmer, he's able to get on it and fly off on it. Even if you say no and try to ride the skimmer again, it still says that those batteries are dead. Again, the most dreaded part of all of the original Sierra games, the gambling section. From what I've been able to gather, except for King's Quest and Quest for Glory, every original Sierra game actually has some section where you have to gamble in order to continue on the game. Now, this section may seem like it runs a bit long. Believe me, when I was actually doing this, it ran longer than this entire video. What you're seeing is basically a version where I saved after every victory, and went back after every death, or after I lost more money than I thought it was worth it. I did, however, decide to leave it where I have a few losses, just so you can see that it doesn't look like I was just saving and winning every time. As goes, while there is a way in the remake to make sure that you win every time, that is not the case in this game. actually gain all the buckazoids that you can get from that gambling machine, and thereby break it, which is another oversight of theirs, because you can break it, spend some of your money, and then suddenly it works again. However, I decided that I was just going to get a few buckazoids and then make my purchase. Which, right here, there's another oversight. When you come up and purchase the droid, it does mention having a coupon. Now, nowhere in the game do you ever actually obtain a coupon. And yet, you always get this with the coupon price. I've checked it out myself. Now, as you know, I just end up buying the droid that I am supposed to get. I have experimented with getting the droid that you're not supposed to get. However, all that does is waste time. It doesn't even lose you points. What it does is that it forces you to end up having to gamble more just to get the right droid. So, there is actually no point or purpose to getting that other droid. And here we have that exact same alien who died once before. How he was resurrected, I don't know. And we start gambling again. And this makes me think of line that Garfield used to say in the 80s cartoon, Garfield and Friends. People who, whatever he was upset with, should be dragged out in the street and shot. I'm starting to think that people who decided that gambling was a staple of these old Sierra games probably did need to be dragged out in the street and shot. Or at the very least, forced to play these gambling games over and over and over and over again, every day for the rest of their rotten lives. Intend to leave. Now, if you're wondering how it is that you know which space sector to go to, you have to sit down, buy a few beers, and then you're going to overhear the bar patrons tell you which sector that they're supposed to go to. However, just like the code to activate the self-destruct on the star generator, the sector of space that you're supposed to go to never changes. If you want to know, it's sector HH. Also, if you purchase the wrong ship, the one that will just burrow into the ground, not the one that crashes, again, all it does is waste time and forces you to gamble again. You do not lose any points. And I forgot to take the keys out of his ship before he left it. Now, at this point, because I had skipped stuff like getting the Star Generator cartridge, and because I had skipped learning what sector of space to go to, this particular part of the game doesn't make any real sense whatsoever. I mean, Roger Wilco would probably want to leave this desert planet with only a space bar to go to, but why would he not just go back to Xenon? I mean, there is absolutely no reason whatsoever to go after the Sarien ship. Actually, it talks about individuals who can fly around their jetpacks or even ships just by thinking about where they want to go. Imagine if you were barking out orders to them, and they say, "Oh, yes, sir, ma'am, whoever you happen to be." Guess what? They're thinking about you. Where do you think they're going to go then? This is another point where I actually use a route that is different than what you see in normal playthroughs. However, this does not gain or lose you any points. You will gain the exact same amount of points if you go this way or if you go the other way. However, I decided to go this particular route only because I had not seen it posted on YouTube yet. So I wanted to show you that there is in fact an alternate route to get where you were going in the ship. Be told, eating into a washing machine, especially one that is turned on, is a really stupid thing to do. There have been reported incidences when people actually have done that, and unlike what you see in this game and other media, the person does not just get sloshed around a bit, they actually nearly drown. And because a washing machine is not designed to carry something that heavy, it causes extensive damage to the washing machine, and there has been at least one recorded case in which a person was electrocuted to death because of a malfunction in the washing machine. In fact, washing machines, back in the day that this was made, were not actually designed to where they would open after they had been started. Newer models do have emergency shutoffs and opening capabilities, but beforehand you actually had to break them open. Now, the way that I play this, you don't ever actually use the pulse ray. However, if you try to leave the room before getting the pulse ray weapon, the robot will notice that the grenade is missing and he will kill you. And the grenade is something that you need. Now, here was one of the harder sequences for me to do for this minimalist run. As it is, if you destroy a Sarien, you do gain points for it, at least the first time that you do so. However, the Sariens will kill you if you do not kill them first. So you cannot actually enter into a screen with a Sarien and then run out before the Sarien kills you. That being the case, I had to play this a few times in order to actually make it through the entire ship without ever running into a Sarien. I said the code to activate the star generator's self-destruct sequence never changes in the original. So, as you can see, it's 6858, and then you push enter. So if against you, so that was never a problem. And I actually did try to escape the ship without destroying the star generator. However, in the original, you can't do that. The elevator I just went down to... The elevator I just went down in order to reach the escape pod does not activate until you have activated the star generator's self-destruct sequence. And now we have the ending of the game. It's sort of a parody on the ending of Star Wars Episode 4, in which you have a reward ceremony for the people who had apparently saved the galaxy. Which, in that particular one, I've always wondered, why is it that Chewbacca did not get a medal? But that's not something dealing with this particular game. And here's where we get the only other reference to Roger Wilco being janitor, his golden mop. So, there's the ending of Space Quest 1, the Sarien Encounter. If you're wondering about why there was no mention that you did not retrieve the star generator information, that's because it's only in the remake. So, this original, you can go through it the